Howdy, and thank you for joining us for this special edition of the Virtual Book Festival, recorded on May 27th, 2020, produced by Book Festival Network and Dear Texas, Dear Indy. This show is sponsored by Authors Marketing Guild. We're a membership-owned company that helps authors learn how to market and sell themselves. Also by IndieLector.store, the only bookstore that offers up to 80% of its sales to authors directly. And produced by Dear Indy and Dear Texas, where we drop everything and read both Texas and Indy authors. We would like to introduce Daniel Logan to our audience.
Sure. My pen name is Daniel Logan, and my friends call me Dan. My old school friends call me Danny, and my family call me Danny Joe. And my wife solved all that problem. She just calls me D. So that's how that works out. A little bit about me. I'm an Indiana Hoosier. I grew up in a small farming community called Carmel, Indiana. I studied at Purdue University and graduated from there. Purdue is known as the cradle of the astronauts. Both Neil Armstrong, the first man to land on the moon, and Gene Cernan, the last man, were Purdue grads. After graduation, I went to work for DuPont, made better things for better living through chemistry. I became a plant manager and ultimately the energy conservation manager for the corporation. It was with DuPont that I met my wife, Connie, in Texas. And we live now in Houston with the nickname America's Space City. I love visiting the Johnson Space Center, and some of my work revolves around that. My interests, lifetime interests, have been, of course, space, aviation, RV travel and camping, and I'm a musician of sorts. My website, if you care to check out some of my work or a little bit more about me, is DanielLoganAuthor.com. Alan, people always ask me how I got interested in writing, and I had to think back to when that happened, and it was during an English composition class in school, where the teacher gave us the assignment to write a short story. It's pretty interesting to me to be able to make up characters and make up a plot and figure out what the setting was for the story. And I guess it's kind of interesting also that my protagonist's name was Dan. You know, where I got that name, I don't know. And the title of the story was Just Plain Trouble, again, aviation interest. Today, that story would still have a good plot, and I may update it sometime, but the writing technical stuff was not very good, and I've learned a lot since then. Later in my career with DuPont, I had a business associate that had been published, and he and I talked about that. I said, you know, someday I'm going to try that. And I did. The time came, and I wrote 2 pages, and I said, you know, this is really going to be great. I don't want to have to wait in line at some agency to get accepted. I'm going to call them. So I called them and left a message that I had a novel that was on the way, and for them to give me a call back. Well, that's been 15 years, and you know, that call has never been returned to me. I don't know why. I attended a graduate level creative writing course at Butler University in Indianapolis, and I've been to a couple of writing conferences which were very good. One was I would recommend is the Pikes Peak Writing Conference in Colorado Springs. I have as of right now, 5 published novels. The first 3 were a time travel series. Are you still there? Hello?
Yes, we are here.
Okay, I've lost my video for some reason. The second series was a space travel series, and I've written 2 books in that series. And the space travel is to Mars. I'm currently writing the last book in that series, and it's called The Martian Enigma. It's a story that I hope is released late this year or early next year. All these books are available at the Indie Lector bookstore, from Amazon, and signed copies, of course, can be gotten to me through the website. I write what I call real-world stories. There's no little green men in my stories, and they appeal to men and to women and to young adults alike. So a little bit about my books. The first book I don't know if you can see this or not,
We see
That's
it.
good. I'm going to try to sign on again.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
Keep going.
The first book in the Deep Space Travel series is the Phobos Expedition. It's a story about a NASA flight to the small moon of Mars called Phobos, and they're going there because the rumor has been that Phobos is extraterrestrial in nature. It's only 12 miles in diameter. So what they find is something that is pretty amazing and changes our concept of the universe. The cover, you might notice, is the story melds the Western Texas heritage with the rocket science at NASA. So it's a pretty interesting combination. The most recent book is called the Deimos Incident. Deimos is the second moon of Mars. It's smaller, and it's only 8 miles in diameter. And what they find there is just incredible. I would tell you what it is, but I'd rather you read the book yourself. So, and I'm currently working on, as I said earlier, the book. This is a working cover and a working title, The Martian Enigma. The first crew that lands on Mars uncovers an enigma that threatens their safe return back home. Talk a little bit about the time travel series. My first effort was called, ironically, The First Migration. It is a story about NASA building a huge time travel facility in the White Sands area of New Mexico. It's 90 miles in diameter. The protagonist in this story was named Tracy Loring. And the name Tracy comes from my grandfather's name, Tracy, because he was my mentor and I had a chance to honor him in this work. The second book in the time travel series is The Lost Portal. It's a story about a search for a legendary craft that crash landed a long time ago in the desert Southwest. And it introduces a character that's one of my favorites. His name is Aaron Eaglecloud. He's a Native American that's moved into modern civilization. He's an aircraft mechanic, and he still has shamanic powers, which are really incredible, and he has to use them in this story. And the final concluding book in the time travel series is called The Spirit Gate. It's about the confluence between, there are two stellar gates that actually exist, that you can see today in the sky. One is called the Gate of Man, and on the opposite side of the earth is called the Gate of God. And the legend has it that humans came to the earth through the Gate of Man, and they lived on the earth for their time. And when they left, they went back into heaven through the Gate of God. Now, these gates are known throughout many cultures. One of them is called the Gate of the Sun, down in the Aztec region. The other might be called Heavenly Gates. I'm sure you've heard of that. And perhaps the most famous is the Pearly Gates. So that's what these gates are, set in the desert Southwest, and actually go back and live with an ancient lost civilization. So that's about me. Alan, I'd like to thank you. This coronavirus has severely limited any author's ability to interact with the public and make public appearances like book signings and so forth. And I thank you for doing this. I'm enjoying the opportunity. I hope everybody would enjoy my novels. And once again, I'll remind you that my website is DanielLoganAuthor.com. Thanks, and I'll sign off there.
Authors Marketing Guild is a membership-owned organization designed to help authors succeed and learn how to better market and sell themselves and their books. Join us at authorsmarketingguild.com and receive so many benefits you'll wonder why you didn't join sooner. That's authorsmarketingguild.com.
Welcome to IndieLector.store, an online bookstore where the discriminating reader can find award-winning books. IndieLector.store is not a big corporation, so we can give up to 80% of the sales directly to the author. Help us support them by buying a great book at IndieLector.store. The 5th Annual Authors Marketing Event. 2 days of live seminars in marketing for authors. The only organization that certifies authors in marketing. live and free to the first 100 authors registered. Sponsored by Bubblish, empowering entrepreneurs, and Indie Lecture Store, paying authors for their fair share. Head to www.2020.authorsmarketingguild.com today.